A lot of people tell me, oh, you're going into film scoring. Well, that's quite a step for an organist, right? And to that I usually reply, is it though? In today's video, I'm gonna give you 9 skills that I learned as an organist that I use as a composer every day. And I'm saving the best one for last. Let's go. Hello, my name is Adam Hessebom, and a musician. I'm based in Malmö, Sweden. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. When you're watching this, it's in the midst of Christmas season. Ever since I was a teenager, all I ever wanted to do was to play the organ and become a church organist. And for the longest time, this was my only goal and only ambition. So I started studying the organ and I graduated with a Bachelor in Fine Arts in Sacred Music. And I as an organist in the Church of Sweden, which is the former state church, Lutheran church in Sweden, established after the Reformation in the 16th century. Even though I no longer have full-time employment in the church, I still play organ all the time. That's where most of my money comes from, and the church is still one of my biggest clients. But I also use the skills and experience I gained as an organist in my work as a composer. So today I'm going to present you 9 skills I learned as an organist that I use as a film composer. And number 1 is budget, time and money. When you are an organist, you are responsible for projects. You need to make a budget and count on how much it costs to hire musicians and buy scores, and you also have to account for that money afterwards. And the same goes for a composer. You have a budget that you need to adjust to, specify your costs in order to even get a job. And then you have to calculate both your own labor costs as well as external factors like musicians and mixing engineers, studio time, what have you. Number 2 is make it work. When you're an organist, you just need to deliver more music all the time. I play every week and I learn new pieces every week, and sometimes you just have to make it work. You have to deal with people getting married or families of deceased people that have a funeral service, and you need to make something that you can present, and usually there's not much time to do it. Tight deadlines, present new music. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, it's the everyday life of a composer. Number 3 is the toolbox of proven methods. When you have to present new music all the time, sometimes you need to have some methods that you know will work, always. At the organ, which I do every week, I usually go for pastiches and cliches that I know will work, and I throw in a human melody in there, and that's how you can start building an organ improvisation. And film scoring is also kind of balancing cliches, pastiches, trying to write like the temp music, but mix it with your own originality. And all film composers walk this fine line between cliche and the time. And number 4 is chord progressions that work for transport and for development. You need to know your chord progressions when you make organ improvisations. You need to know your circle of fifths, your rounds of 4, your triadic chord progressions, mediantic, different modes, octotonic modes. All of these are chord progressions that you can use for transportations from one part to another, and also to and these are given go-tos also when writing music. Number 5 is sight reading. And I would be so lost and so confused if I couldn't read music. I know a lot of people say that you don't need to be able to read music in order to write music. That's probably true for a lot of people. I know there are a lot of famous composers that cannot read or write music. I'm not one of those people. Reading and writing music is a very good skill to have, and it's well invested time to learn it. When I play the organ, I read music all the time because it's impossible to learn so much repertoire by heart in such a short time. So, and sometimes you don't have time to practice and you need to read it, just read it. And when I write music, I kind of do this in reverse because I visualize the score as in Logic, even though I can't see the written score while I play the music. I sort of visualize it and it helps me get a hang of it. And it also improves my reading of my own like piano roll, also in Logic, so I can adjust my notes to whatever I'm doing. It's a very good skill to have. I think learning sight reading and reading music, you don't have to be expert level. I'm not at expert level, but I'm a good sight reader and all the time. Number 6 is to transpose on the fly. I have accompanied so many singers, especially amateur singers, and they usually don't know what key they want to sing in. They don't know how keys work. So you try to estimate it, and then you often have to transpose just before the performance. And amateur singers also have like different forms on different days, so you just adjust the key to their liking. I often need to transpose my own music because I might have some themes and I need to transpose them to whatever key I am currently working in. Number 7 is the head arrangement. I often play popular music in different services when it's requested. And then I usually have a lead sheet, a melody and chord symbols, and then I make up the arrangement as I go. And this is what you might call a head arrangement. Actually, that's how I write music in Logic too, because I can't see the score. I can only see my tracks and my instruments. So I try to make an arrangement in my head and try to play it in. Number 8 is the quick decision making. As an organist, you often find yourself in the role of a musical director. So you might have your choir, you might have some instrumentalists, and people will ask you in rehearsals, should I do this, should I do that? And then you need to make speedy decisions. And when I write music, I also make quick decisions. Instead of half measuring a few different routes, I usually go for one. I try it 100% and I go for it. If it doesn't work, then I redo it. But then I will have a clear concept and know that this doesn't work. But a lot of times the first idea is the best idea and it's your instinct, so you could go for it. But you need to have this ability to make quick, stand by your decisions as you make them and not half try and, oh, let me come back later. Just do it. And number 9, the biggest one, is musical storytelling. Every service and every mass follow a story and a rite. And you need to have this fingertip feel for the structure to be able to tell it effectively. You have the liturgical year, every has its own set of texts. First half of the liturgical year, Advent to beginning of summer. That's usually the stories about the life of Christ. And the other half is based on the teachings of Christ. And the distribution of these texts, they follow a form that have been established for many, many centuries. So you're working within this tradition, and it's important that you sort of respect the tradition, creating new within the tradition, because you're not operating a museum. And this has taught me an ability to take texts, placement in the rite, placement in the time of the year and time of history, and create a whole that feels bigger than the sum of its parts. And I think a great film score usually does this too. Every little cue must consider its place and the state of the characters, their feelings, and the place within their respective arcs. A film score must also set the scene. I mean, sometimes in, time and geography, but a lot of times also in, a state of mind, together with the cinematography, with the dialogue, with the sound effects. All of these elements, they weave together and something bigger. And sometimes the score needs to do the expected. And sometimes it needs to shock and to disrupt. So, bottom line, I think there are more similarities between church music and film music than there are differences. Church music is my musical DNA, and I know how to utilize it in my work as a composer. For me, it's a foundation. So now I'm curious, what is your musical DNA? How can you use your foundation to create scoring work? I would love to hear from you in the comments and learn more about you who are watching this video. If you thought this was interesting, then please hit like so that more people can find this video. And consider subscribing to my channel because I post new videos every week on my life in music, how I make music, my music business. And I want to thank you for watching this video and being a part of my audience. Next week I will be off for New Year's celebrations, but I will see you in 2026. So cheers and Happy New Year.